Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. We're going to do the astrology and Kabbalah of October 2020. We're doing the astrology. We'll probably add a little Kabbalah in because I do that. There's a lot going on this month, and so I wanted to inform you as best I can. In a way that'll be useful to you. So let's get started here. We're gonna go to the beginning of October, and I want to start right here. And I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I'm gonna do this as a presentation. So in the last video, we talked about the numerology of October and the Kabbalah. And so the numerology of October, of course, is the 10th month, and the universal year is a 4, which makes October a 14-5 vibration month. 14-5 in the tarot is the Temperance card. The Temperance card is a card that is connected to spiritual initiation. And if we look here at this, the Temperance card sits right on the path that connects Tippereth right here with Yesod. And Tippereth is the Sephiroth of the sun. Yesod is the Sephiroth of the moon. So this is the path that runs between them is associated with the Temperance card, which of course is associated with the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the truth seeker. Sagittarius wants the big picture. And so we will get the big picture, or more of the picture at least, this month. There is a lot of awareness that is going to be brought forth this month. And then from that awareness, we move forward. There's a lot of awareness coming, and there's a lot of cycles this month that are coming to what we would call the fruitful or the fruits of our labors kind of cycles, and social reward cycles that are coming up that will help us to navigate the waters that are certainly coming up. Now, one thing in the future, one thing I want to just mention, we have the Temperance card here, sitting here between Tippereth and Yesod. Next month in November, we actually go into a 15-6 vibration. That is the Devil card, and that is the path between Tippereth and Hod. Okay, this path, the Temperance path, is a path of the present moment. It runs in the center of the tree. This is the middle pillar. The middle pillar is a pillar of transformation, and so we're going through a transformational process at this time. Of course, Temperance is in some decks, you see the angel holding a cup of water and a cup of fire. Temperance is a spiritual initiation, as is the journey from the lower self, which is represented by Yesod here, into the higher self, which is represented by Tippereth. Last month, we were in a cycle where we had Tippereth connected to Netzach. Netzach is connected to Venus. Tippereth is connected to the sun, and it is the path of death. And so last month we had to let go and trust, surrender to soul. This month we have an opportunity to be a little bit more active. This was more about acceptance. This is an active energy, but the action of the Temperance path is one of putting one foot in front of the other and not getting caught up in extremes. Come November, we're going to be in the path of the Devil. This is the 15-6 path. This is the Capricorn path. This is about responsibility, being responsible for your thoughts. Hod is associated with Mercury. Tippereth is associated with the heart chakra and the sun. This has to do with our ability to understand that there are things beyond the physical world that have influence. And if we can connect to those, those places, connect to our higher self. We don't have to get caught in the prison of the mind, because Hod can be the prison of the mind. Hod can be mental arrogance, thinking you have it all figured out. Okay, we don't. And then in December, the end of 2020, because 2020 wasn't exciting enough, we move into a 16-7 vibration, which is the Tower card. And it's in the Tower that we really come to understand who we are. Spirits having a human experience, and the falling down of false personas and false facades. So if you are putting yourself out there as something and it is not true to your nature, or if it's completely ego based, and ego is necessary, but ego is necessary as a crystal clear channel of divine will. And that divine will is our own divinity. It's our own connection to the divine. So it's not as if it's not power over, but it's acceptance of our true power as spiritual beings having human experience. And so we can open up to our true power with this, but we must let go of personas that we no longer need, and that can be painful and disruptive. So be aware that we are continuing to go through this evolutionary process. The key this month is really very much a key of healing, and a key of initiation. Okay. So that was a lot. I told you I'd talk a little bit about Kabbalah, because the path of temperance, the temperance card connects the sun and moon on the tree of life. We have to look especially at the relationship between the sun and the moon. And in October, we start the month with a full moon. We end the month with a full moon. And we have a very powerful new moon in the middle of the month. And I think as these go, we're going to talk about them. The first, and of course, it's the 5th right now, so we've experienced this. So I can talk about this with a little bit of perspective that I didn't have when I wrote it. But we have October 1st, we have the full moon in the sign of Aries. It's occurring at 10 degrees of Aries. And with the moon in Aries, the sun has to be in Libra. The Sabian symbol for 10 degrees of Libra: having passed safely through narrow rapids, a canoe reaches calm waters. Interesting. The keynote: the self-control and poise necessary to reach a steady state of inner stability. Inner stability. Isn't that what it's all about? Isn't that what I've been, God, sorry about that, but preaching for months now? Focusing on what you can do for yourself to stabilize your life. What is it where is your passion? Where is your compassion? And how are you going to manifest that when the time comes that we can actually move forward with that? We're kind of in the planning stage of the revolution, and it's a revolution of love. Key word here is relief. So that's the sun. And what does the moon say? Well, Sabian symbol for the moon: a teacher gives new symbolic forms to traditional images. Revision of attitude at the beginning of a new cycle of experience. And so this indicates that we are at a new cycle of experience. And we have evolved tremendously through September for sure. And in any of the months, you could pick any month, and there has been a huge energetic shift in the direction of our evolution. And our evolution is, we evolve through our own emotional body. So it's a very, very emotionally fraught time, right? But we can feel many great sorrows with this, and we certainly have. A lot of grief has been released out, but also a lot of love, and we've seen it. We've seen people walking shoulder to shoulder for Black Lives Matter, of all races and all ages. And I mean, the president and his minions like to show you the burned down buildings, and for sure there are looters, but a lot of them don't even come from the communities that are being looted. So we have to, but that's, people don't want to look at that. They just want to They want to look at the looting and they want to say, see, those people are animals. It makes it convenient for them to see them as non-people. And because if they really search their hearts, they would realize that, we all deserve love and we all deserve opportunity. And an opportunity for you doesn't mean that an opportunity for somebody else does not mean that there's less of an opportunity for you. There's more of an opportunity for you. Because energy, especially the energy of love, just builds upon itself. And here we have this full moon. Now, this full moon, this is for the United States, this is for Washington, D.C. And we can see here that the moon is opposite the sun. And very close to the moon is Chiron, Chiron in Aries. Chiron is the wound, right? It's a wound. It's a woundedness. We can heal the wound or we can work from the wound with Chiron. There's always an opportunity for healing, even when we are expressing the wound, because Chiron is a little like the hair of the dog. It's got it. The wound itself is the cure. It's like homeopathy in that respect. Like cures like, but because it was conjunct the moon, we definitely would see in the world, because in the mundane charts, which is charts of events in the world, and this one, this full moon is considered a mundane chart. The moon is the people, and there's a lot of pain and a lot of suffering going on, and there's an awareness of that. We have Uranus here in an exact, practically exact and conjunct, I mean, so close to the sun. And that is a waking up. Something sudden is going to happen. Something out of the ordinary is going to happen. And so we have we have seen, we had the debate, which was out of the ordinary, right? And then, of course, the president has come down with COVID-19. All right, so let's go to the new moon that's occurring on the 16th of October. This is another important lunation. Of course, new moons are always beginnings, starting something new, initiating, planting a seed. This new moon occurs at 24 degrees of Libra. The Sabian symbol is a butterfly with a third wing on its left side. What does this mean? Keynote is the ability to develop, for inner strengthening, new modes of response to basic life situations. And so this is requiring us to act differently. This is requiring us to do things differently. The butterfly is an ancient and traditional symbol of the results of the process of spiritual rebirth. And so here we are, all of us in our chrysalis, right? If the butterfly has 3 wings instead of 2, a special development of an aspect of the spiritual life is shown. 3 is the symbol of fulfillment. Some power has been added to the normal spiritual life of the individual person. Well, this is exciting. The left side usually refers to the instinctual field of consciousness, but it is also the heart side. A new strength is shown and perhaps yet unrealized. Its keyword here is original mutation. But he's speaking about an increased capacity within our own hearts, an increased capacity for empathy, an increased capacity for love and forgiveness and healing. And we are now anchored in the 5th dimension. And there's really no going back. We're going to have to learn how to work within this 5th dimensional energy. And the 5th dimensional energy is an energy where love reigns, really. And so the old ways of succeeding are no longer going to work as well. They'll work to a certain extent, but the energy of love and the energy of balance is coming into the consciousness of humanity. It's actually been in the consciousness for a long time, but it's precipitating down into the lower vibrational states, and we're seeing that expressing itself in the outer world. Here we have this new moon. Now, this new moon is also powerful. This is for the Washington, D.C. area. And we have this full moon, this new moon, excuse me, in um, in the eighth house of death and rebirth. So this is a moon that's going to bring about a transformation in the United States, because it is, I erected it for Washington, D.C., which is how you erect a chart for a country. You erect it in the capital of that country. If we were doing Italy, we would do Rome. If we were doing France, we would do Paris. But we're doing America right now, and this is Washington, D.C. Um, it is also about shared resources, and so there can be a shift and a change in the way that we distribute our shared resources. Our shared resources is, the tax money that all obviously the rich people don't pay, but the rest of us do. How are we going to distribute that? How are we going to utilize that money um, to improve the situations of people? Um, it's it's powerfully placed. This new moon is powerfully placed in that it is opposite Mars in the second house in Aries, moving retrograde. Mars is retrograde, and it is squaring Pluto, and it is squaring Saturn, and it is squaring Jupiter. All of these planets here are moving in direct motion. Jupiter in the 11th house indicates perhaps we'll get some help from Congress. But we have Pluto and Saturn here in a new phase conjunction in the place of hidden enemies and the place of hidden things. And so we do have to be aware that there are people behind the scenes that are pulling strings that we're not going to see. We're not going to be able to see that, but we do need to be aware that it is happening. And we have to be aware that when we see that happening, that we speak out against it. Even though this is a Libra new moon, Libra new moons in Libra can be about justice and fairness. And so we have to sort of keep our antennas open, because there's a lot of things that are um, hidden, that we're a lot of power struggles behind the scenes here. Okay. We also have, again, Uranus in the third house of the United States. This is the lower mind. So this is, people are waking up to something, and it's exactly opposite. Well, not exactly, but close enough to Mercury. At that point, Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio. Mercury in Scorpio is the detective. So while this is all happening in the behind the scenes, this Mercury does help us to access some of that. So this is a very psychic time. We're going to get a lot of inspirations from this opposition. This opposition actually occurs 3 times because Mercury is retrograde. So it happens when Mercury is direct, it happens when Mercury is retrograde, and then the last time it happens when Mercury is direct. Uranus is the higher mind. Mercury is the lower mind. So, and oppositions are points of awareness. So we're going to be becoming more and more aware, not of just what's going on in the world, because that's going to go on. And we don't have a lot of uh, power to necessarily change that. Where we have our power is connecting to our higher self, connecting to our higher mind, seeing what is being revealed on a spiritual level to us. This month is a spiritual initiation month, so it's of high importance that what we are being shown we pay attention to, because it matters big time. And we're going to know, because of these realizations, how to move forward. But when we're dealing with Uranus, sometimes it can happen through shock and awe. We can have these situations where the rug gets pulled out from under us, so it's very hard to sort of get your feet after that. And oftentimes Uranus will come in little like pieces. So we might not get all the pieces until we have that last opposition of Mercury to Uranus, which I believe is either happening at the end of this month or the beginning of next month, if I'm remembering correctly. And then we have a full moon at the end of the month in Taurus, The Sabian symbol for the sun in Scorpio. Of course, if the moon is in Taurus, the sun has to be in Scorpio. A dentist at work, overcoming the negative results of social practices and ego cravings. Man is compelled by social needs to display inventiveness. And so we're going to have to figure out how we proceed. The book hasn't been written. It's kind of like we're writing the book as we go. That's why it's so very important to pay attention to the inner promptings that you're having. And then we have the Sabian symbol for 9 degrees of Taurus, which is the position of the moon, a fully decorated Christmas tree, the ability to create inner happiness in dark hours, a faith in cyclical renewal. And so we are going to face darkness, but we faced darkness before and we've come out the other side. And for somebody who's spent a lot of their life in darkness, in that I've been left in the dark about who I was as a person in this lifetime. I've always had issues with my identity because I was told who I was and it didn't feel right inside of me. To come to find out that my true identity was being held back from me. And so I've always searched for identity. And there have been times when I've felt very lost. But when you feel that those times of like you're lost, this is the time to look within, because we have spirit within and we have connection within. And, it's above, down, inside out. And so you're never going to get satisfaction from the outside. It has to come from your connection with spirit and embodying that connection with spirit, and then allowing spirit to work through you. And that's really what this temperance month is about, allowing spirit to come in to your lower self, allowing your lower self to surrender to the promptings of spirit, clearing out the dross. We talked about this in the other video. And so you can become a crystal clear channel of spirit. And part of that with the temperance is, tempering your actions, tempering what you eat, what you drink. If you like to drink, you might want to like hold back on that. If you like to smoke pot or eat pot, you might want to hold back on that a little bit, although sometimes the plant medicine can help us to open up to realizations. If you eat a lot, you want to maybe cut that down. You want to keep things very simple this month, and do what you need to do to sort of cleanse your spirit, cleanse your body. This is a purification. Sometimes with Sagittarius and the purification, you can get a fever, because what a fever does is it helps to increase the metabolism of your body. So you may start to feel like you're getting these flashes of heat. And of course, you're always going to be concerned at this time about you're always going to be concerned about COVID at this time. So be careful. You want to keep your immunity up, right? Because, of course, right? Because of what's going on. But that's all within our hands. And here's the full moon in Taurus. And what's astounding about this full moon is now the full moon is exactly conjunct Uranus. So this really is a waking up. This really is a shock and an awe. Uranus, pull the rug out from under you. And it's also in alignment. Sorry, it's also in alignment with, where is it? We have Mercury here. Now it's retrograded back into Libra. Let's see, that is square Saturn, Mercury square Saturn in this one. This is a crisis in consciousness square. This is becoming an authority in your own life. And the axis, excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I have to search for it. the nodes of the moon, the direction of our evolution, our collective evolution. The South Node in Sagittarius, going it alone, right, in the first house. You're all alone in this, and you're not. Um, the we're being asked to remember that we need to talk to one another. That's what Gemini is about. It's about communicating seventh house with others. We have Neptune here in the third house of media. We have to watch out. The media may try to confuse us. So it may very well be that we have to, again, shut some things off and open up our own intuition about things, and get yours, and make sure you're checking your sources with that. Um, the resolution node for this uh, Neptune square the nodes is the South Node in Sagittarius. And so we need to review our beliefs from the past, our beliefs, whether it be religious or our opinions, or, you know, those things that we like stand so firmly in and are willing to die for. Let's rethink that. Let's rethink that. Let's not waste our lives on silly um, silly stances that aren't going to help anybody, except maybe somebody that has convinced you that that's the silly stance that you should take. All right, so I think I'm going to actually end here. Um, and I'm going to do this a little differently this month. I'm going to do this in sections, because the information, I think, is so important that we look at it. And then, of course, every day I do my astrology. So I'm going to do a better job, I think, of uh, talking about week-long things, and I'm still going to do my daily stuff in the garden. But I'm going to try to add a week, sort of the week ahead kind of thing. I am going to try to get that done today. I have a couple of readings. I have my reading with Marianne that I have to get ready for. Um, so there's a lot happening this week, but I will do my due diligence as best I can to get that out. So I think this is actually enough information at this time. So I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed this. Um, I'm going to stop my share so you can see me. Um, these flowers, um, some are from the garden and some were bought, but my husband arranged them. I just thought I'd point that out. He does such a nice job. And he also, I have another set of flowers here. Let me see if I can grab them without dumping them on my head, that he also arranged. Just want to share. So pretty, right? Yes, that is goldenrod for those of you who are deathly allergic of it. But it's so pretty. And I'm not deathly allergic, so. And now with COVID, nobody comes in the office really, so I don't have to worry about that. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed my flowers. Like and subscribe. Much love to you. I'll see you this week with Denise. We're doing high tea with Denise. Some really good information came through in that get together, in that tea with our pinkies out, and some silliness, mostly on my part, but you know, she was very, very, very patient with my silliness. And then I'll be doing a reading with Marianne this week, probably coming out on Thursday, but I'm not sure. We'll see. Okay, guys, love you. Take care. Namaste. All my love. Like and subscribe. If you want to donate, there is a link below. If you enjoy my work and you want to support me that way. I'm in the middle of two beginners class for astrology. I'm going to be continuing those, you know, doing more intermediate stuff and building on what the students are learning. And then at the beginning of the year, I'm going to be doing a Kabbalah class. So that's going to be really a lot of fun. So if you're interested in that, keep your ears open. I will make announcements as it gets closer for that. So take care, guys. Love you. Bye.